Hey everyone, and I think it's time we talk about something here before I start off this review. Technically speaking, I am not making reviews for JP units again or ever again, unless the unit is actually really good for a change, but there are none. Actually, none to my knowledge at least yet. But we are consistent at being inconsistent, aren't we? Anyway, so the other day, I think it was Thursday or Wednesday, I don't know, either one, or even Tuesday, in the last couple of days, there was someone's video, and after they posted it, I had literally 14 DMs on Discord asking me, is Kimahri actually the best Dragoon? And I was like, what are you smoking? And unsurprisingly, it was the same dude who said Esther wasn't good at all, deals less damage than Graf and Sephiroth, that you should 130 Sephiroth immediately when the mystery crystals got active, and turns out it's the typical JP player. I do want my series, Final Fantasy series, to be the best units guy. But yeah, this video basically is don't trust JP creators on global meta. Now, while I don't think they are dumb people, but they are not using their brains, nor are they doing math. They are just basically listening to their feelings. And what happens when you listen to your feelings is you believe COVID is just a huge hoax. You believe that JP units all of a sudden are meta. All in the same vein. They are not. And in this review, we're finding out, or we're going to find out, that Kimahri is the 4th best Dragoon. But is the 4th best really the best, or can you just throw him into the dumpster? So let's find out. So Kimahri is a 7-star, glorified 7-star unit, also called Super Limit Burst unit. Is a Dragoon, is waterlocked or light-locked, depending on what you want to use, because for some reason, Big Brain Alim thought that why not both? Make him a hybrid, but without the hybrid tag. So he has 431 attack, base attack at EX3, and 463 base magic, which is already kind of baffling that they are gimping the attack side of things compared to the magic side of things. But it gets worse. The kit details on the right hand side, that's pretty much all you need to know about his kit, by the way. There's nothing that stands out. He has some chains that are really bad, nothing to really talk about, and he has a 30% water light self amp. That in itself, it would have been cool 2 years ago when we just got Neo Vision units. He can increase his Ronso jump with both these cooldowns. Only those who try will become something. And it's really nothing really to talk home about or write home about. So the Ronso jump is 150x, 2 turns does it take. Adds water element, and that's the bad part about it. You can't dispel it unless you are really tech savvy in this game, but I don't believe it works anyway. So it's all really bad in itself, and there's a total jump modifier. It goes up to 350 if you include the Rickard stuff, the VS Roundworm vision card, and his own STMR 350 is what he's at, and that's pretty much equal to Holy Dragoon Kane, or without the Holy, and Dragoon Rickard. So in that vein, they are about the same, but as you can already see, that super low attack stat, it will come to haunt him later. So let's check the SLB and LB. It's the same. I'm kind of surprised the naming scheme isn't Nova for the Limit Burst and Supernova for the Super Limit Burst. That would have been the usual naming scheme for Alim, but they thought, hey, you have angered Kimahri. Yeah, you have angered him for being bad. But yeah, 200x light magic damage, no physical attack, so it actually has to be magical attack, which is already bad. 130 light Imperil as well, and the SLB is just the same thing, higher values, 350x, light magic damage, and 135 4 turns light Imperil. So Using an off-meta element isn't that good at all, and it speaks for himself. Let's check out not Van, but Kimahri. The Trustmaster, Super Trustmaster, Vision card, Trustmaster close, 60 attack magic. At least they kept parity on that one. 40 defense, 36 spirit. But here's the kicker. Why does he have 80% magic but no attack percent? Alim? Question mark? The Super Trustmaster is an accessory, 80 magic, 80 attack, and 55 magic. Again, where's the parity in that? 100% jump damage and 50x jump modifier increase. And that latter one, it can't be stacked. Would have been cool though, but then again, I can see why they didn't. And the vision card is your standard trash series vision card, but it's not breaker only. I should have eliminated that, but whatever. Not breakers only. So 50% through double hand attack, 50% through double hand magic, and 50% LB are the bonuses that everybody gets. And the base stat is 110 attack, and I believe magic. Wow, I have so many mistakes on this one. But anyway, kind of meh TMR. Excellent STMR though. I'll give him that. That's the only good thing about him. The actually excellent STMR for Dragoons, but the vision card is still trash. And let's talk about damage calculations, as always, or if you're watching my reviews for the first time, sorry for the errors. I don't make that many errors on a single slide usually. Just happen to be that way. And I don't even know why that happened. But anyway, so I think you've had enough time to read through this. If not, pause the video. And here is the Kimahri build. Now, when I did this, I only had the JP stats of him, and it's missing 1500 static attack. So add this to him, and yeah, this is the build. Please keep in mind that you can and should use Oren's STMR, because that's another 500 static attack for him. And yeah, looks decent. I mean, he easily caps most races because he has 150% Omnikiller, so that's okay, I guess. And here are comparable or updated Sky, Kane, and Ricard builds with Kimahri's STMR, Kane's STMR, not Kane's STMR, Kane's Vision card, and Ricard's Helm. So all the good stuff basically on these units. For Dragoon Ricard, it's the difference between double handing him and dual wielding isn't that big of a difference. It's 0.5% in favor of the double hand build. The dual wield build is a little bit easier to build, so I use that one honestly, and we kind of want to have some little differences here. But yeah, I do like juxtapositions, so we have a very nice comparison here. So let's check out the damage details, or the damage comparison here. And as we can see, Sky actually as a Dragoon no more is it a meme. She is the actual real deal. I also updated Samurai Chizuru, so we do have a more accurate representation of damage values. But all in all, as you can see, Kimahri is just 69, nice, 0.52% of Sky's damage, which is already pretty bad when you consider that Sky is about a year old by this point. And 48.89% of Jack's damage. To be fair, Jack, he is also more a meme. He will probably never really see use in any environment, neither Dark Visions nor Trials for that matter, but I might be wrong. At least for Trials, I'm fairly positive we'll never use him because we have Omnicover tanks, and those are more useful. But in terms of damage, technically speaking, he's really good. But that's the only thing he really does. So Kimahri is also rather behind on damage compared to Dragoon Kane and Dragoon Ricard. And I mean, while the difference is rather small, as you can see, it's in the 98% range. But why pull it all the way to EX +3 for a unit that you are never going to use when you could just use that year-old unit Sky instead, whom you are getting the intrinsic for free too? So there's pretty much no reason to ever pull for Kimahri willingly. And as it turns out, and this is pretty much the gist of it, the low attack and magic values or base stats of Kimahri, they make a huge difference. If he had the same values as Dragoon Ricard or Dragoon Kane, he'd perform a little bit better, but not so much that it would matter. He would still be behind Roos most... No, he wouldn't be. I messed up. He's above Roos, but he would probably be closer to a Dragon Knight and Die versus non-demons. So, I mean, but that's still not really helpful, as all of the units that you're seeing here, everybody up to the point of Esther gets to see use at some point, but everybody below Esther is just never used again. And truth be told, I think Esther's time is up too in the very foreseeable future. But then again, maybe because she's an EN chainer and does the 100% LB field, she might extend her life a little bit. It's going to be hard to decide. It really depends on what units, especially on the global side, we're getting next. Going by JP units, she won't be replaced, but who knows what we'll get. And there is always that possibility that Gumi doesn't do a War of the Visions with Nier call-up, which we all know it's coming. But the question is, are the Nier units actual Clash units? That'd be cool. Or is this just a War of the Visions style event where we just get one single instance of nothing to do, no units? Who knows at this point, right? So it's going to be interesting to see. I kind of wouldn't be surprised if Esther disappeared from the meta by November, December, but we'll see. I'd be sad because I do like Esther. I do like the combination Esther, Sky, and Sylvie. So we'll see. But yeah, getting back to Kimahri, I drifted off a little bit here. He's just not worth it. And that is reflected in his rating, 1 out of 10, while I usually say that the rating only reflects the general usability of a unit and that it's not indicative of the quality of a unit. In this case, I'm making an exception. Kimahri's trash. And technically speaking, this should have been a 0 out of 10. That's how bad he actually is. But yeah, Kimahri is just STMR bait for Sky, Kane, and Ricard. And that also begs the question, will you ever use either of the three? And in the case of Sky, yes. Technically speaking, Sky will be somewhat-ish meta once we get the Final Fantasy X2 Riku in, I would say, a few weeks. Up to 3 weeks, I guess. There's a global unit in the way. There is Regina that technically came with Kimahri. They split up that banner for some reason. And then it's the Final Fantasy X2 girls. I don't know whether Final Fantasy IX came in between. We'll have to see how Global handles this case. But technically speaking, Riku is rather soon, at the very latest in 3 weeks, if they go by the JP schedule and sprinkle in that global unit. So rather soon-ish, Sky's time is coming and she will be very, very strong, especially when you hit one race of her innate races. But even in the worst case scenario, Sky is going to be out-damaging units such as Sky. She'll be very close to Olive. Yeah, and that should make you think about how good Sky actually is 1 year in. But yeah, getting back to Kimahri, the bad things: no weapon in peril, super trashy vision card. He has an immensely bad SLB kit, one of the worst I've seen, but there is one unit that will take the cake entirely. Van Harma, he has literally one ability. After his cooldowns are done. He has super low damage. On my spreadsheet, if you check it out below the like button, you will also see I calculated the magic damage, the SLB for him, and it's even worse. So yeah, low damage, no party support at all, and he gets another minus, an additional minus, because he has no stat buffs. None whatsoever outside of his SLB activation buff that I believe only lasts for 3 turns. So technically speaking, if your Kimahri is EX plus 3, which, whew boy, if you have that kind of money for EX plus 3 Kimahri, respect. Or Lapis, I should say. But if you're in your right mind, you shouldn't do this. You really shouldn't. And yeah, it's bad, because you'll have to live without. So all in all, Kimahri is easily one of the worst units Alim has ever made. His base stats are at 2021 levels of bad. He lacks critical core mechanics such as stat buffs for self, and basically does absolutely nothing all fight long outside of his jump or SLB. He's the easiest skip in my life, and he should also be in your life. Do not trust any JP apologist, salesman that he is even a decent jumper, because he isn't. He isn't even a good off-banner to get. He's that bad. And I have a bonus for you guys too, actually. So bonus number one on where I'm showing you how much of a galaxy brain Alim is. It's the funniest / dumbest thing I've seen in a while. So check this out. Kimahri unlocks at EX +2. Take that, EX +2 unlock. A passive that autocasts at the start of the battle, proof of Mount Gagazet's might, which is 40 LB, basically his whole LB gauge, and it increases LB modifier by 80x for 1 turn. But he's an SLB unit. So the only thing that might actually benefit from this doesn't. That's a galaxy brain move, Alim. Thumbs up. Super cool design. And yeah, if you're wondering how to use Kimahri, I also have a slide for that. Let's check it out. And this is how you use Kimahri. And with that, I'm out. Thank you for watching. See you next week. Bye bye.